there's so many different experiences that first gens have. Like
Mm,
I'm the first. I went to university um just because I was stubborn, right? I was like, no one else in my family has done this. I'm gonna do it, right? And I did it, and they were like, look, we're not gonna be able to help you with much. Like, we don't have much experience in this, so you're out there on your own. I'm like, yeah, I don't need your help. I can do it all far myself. I desperately needed help. But I was so stubborn I didn't ask for any help. But then I've spoken to people who are like first gen graduates, and they were like, there was so much pressure put on them, right? To be the first person. Like, you're so clever, you're the most smartest in the family, you're gonna go to university. And then then they've seen like struggles from the the element of pressure when it comes to being a first gen, whereas I saw struggles because I was too stubborn. So there's like so many different like
is good.
yeah, and like what when you work with like first gen graduates now or first gen students now, what are like some of the common things that you see come up, and why are you most interested in like helping that section?
Well, I think, you've kind of implied some of it already in your comment. Uh, One of the major things I think is, universities and colleges are in the way they sort of work are kind of black boxes, not just to students, but in some ways to faculty and other people who work at them, which strikes me pretty constantly. They don't know people don't know how budgets work and that sort of thing. Um, but I think, if you just say, go to the registrar's office or, file your FAFSA for people in the United States. What is that? I mean, what are these things? How do you do them? How do you navigate this? And that's one part of it. Is institutional processes are I mean, I think they're pretty mysterious to almost anybody, but they're mysterious and frustrating, I think, to people who don't just sort of naturally feel like they belong. And I think a lot of first generation students don't feel in one way or another that they belong, whether they've got imposter syndrome or some other thing that's going on with them. And what I've found, and we're really working on that here at USAO, it's kind of my mantra, is you just have to reduce institutional friction. And you have to make it clear and explicit and as easy as you possibly can for students to navigate these things, financial aid, registration, all that sort of thing. And it's hard because again, if you're an insider, you just sort of take it for granted that people know this stuff, and they don't. And again, I think one of the things, and Scott, you may have some familiarity with this from your own experience. Um, you may have kind of a tentative grip on your desire to go to college or to go to university. And so every little thing that you bump into that's discouraging is kind of another brick in the wheelbarrow of, not thinking it's for you, not feeling like you want to keep doing it. And I think that's a really tough thing. Uh, so I think a lot of what an institution that serves a lot of first generation students and a lot of students who have financial need and so on need to do is just make sure that those processes are easy and friction free, um, so that students don't bump into those things that what when they encounter it, they say, well, I'm just done with this. It's too much. I'm spending all this money. I don't have a clear outcome. I could be working, and making reasonably good money doing this sort of thing, whatever it might be. Um, that happens a lot, I think. And students who leave will pretty much always tell you it's financial, in my experience, and that I think is because they're raised not to hurt people's feelings, you know? So they won't say, "Well, my experiences in the financial aid office have just been absolutely horrible, so I just can't deal with it anymore," or, so they won't say that, or my advisor's a psychopath. They won't do that. Um, and so they'll say, "Well, I just can't afford to keep doing it. I need to work." But that's n I mean, it's very often a factor, but it's certainly a lot less of a factor than it would show up in things like surveys.